What's up, everybody? My dudes, dudettes, you are watching Type of Dudes. I'm DT.
I'm Joe.
And with us today, the lovely Holly, handsome Felipe, and we have another Archie Bunker All in the Family video to react to right now. And he's going to be talking about his dad. One of you guys suggested this video. I found it, and we're going to watch it right now. Warning, he does use the N-word. Just so you know. I guess you have to have trigger warnings these days. So there's your trigger warning. He does use the N-word. But he talks about his dad. He said it was interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes. Y'all ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Kids all made funny, huh?
Yeah, they all make fun. Well, all except one little black kid by the name of Winston.
A black kid liked you?
No, the black kid beat the hell out of me.
Why?
I don't know, nothing.
Well, he must have had a reason.
Well, he said that I said he was a nigger.
Well, did you?
Sure.
Well, then that was the reason.
What the hell reason was that? That's what all them people was calling them days. I mean, everybody we knew called them people niggers. That's all my old man ever called them there. What the hell was I supposed to call them? I didn't know that. I was going to call them a wop.
He just can't help
I
it.
couldn't call them wop because wop was what we call a dago.
Did you ever think?
Makes
Did
sense.
you ever think that possibly your father just might be wrong?
Wrong, my old man? Don't be stupid. My old man, let me tell you about him. He was never wrong about nothing.
Yes, he was, Arch.
Aye.
My old man used to call people the same things as your old man. But I always knew he was wrong. So was your old man.
No, he was.
Yes, he was.
He
Your
wasn't.
father was wrong.
Stop!
Your father was wrong!
Tell me my father was wrong. Let me tell you something. Father who made you wrong, your father, the breadwinner of the house there, the man who goes out and busts his butt to keep a roof over your head, and clothes on your back, you call your father wrong? Hey, your father. Father, that's the man that comes home bringing you candy. Father's the first guy to throw a baseball to you and take you for walks in the park, holding you by the hand. My father held me by the hand, boy. My father had a hand on him now, I'll tell you. He busted that hand once, and he busted her on me. To teach me to do good. My father, he shoved me in the closet for 7 hours, teach me to do good. 'Cause he loved me. He loved me. Don't be looking at me. Yeah. Let me tell you something. You're supposed to love your father. Because your father loves you. And how can any man that loves you tell you anything that's wrong? What's the use of so that thing. Whoa.
Is he drunk?
I think.
Those kegs are from him.
Oh, he has a bottle in his hand.
Good night, Shibuti.
That was intense.
Wow.
I feel like that kind of illuminated some, like a big picture of what I felt like was happening in our recent political times, which was to get people to change their mind about those really deeply rooted ideas and beliefs is to ask them to reconsider everything they've ever known. I feel like he had to reconsider everything he knew about his father in order to even be able to change his mind about his father being wrong. And there's like the whole concept of like seeing your parents for who they really are. And they are not perfect and they are wrong and they're just people too. What an intense
Yeah, that was a
topic.
extraordinarily powerful scene, and I got the acting of Carol O'Connor. I mean, that was stunning. Like he's a tremendous actor, but just the scene, I felt like that was the first time probably where the son-in-law realized that kind of where that ignorance came from for the first time. Just by the way they were showing him and the way they were... Yeah, it felt like that was the first time that the son-in-law ever considered where his ignorance came from.
Yeah.
I think there's a conversation, though, to... Not really, but it always strikes me of when they don't know any better, right? I'm not saying it's right, but if that's all they know, there's so many different... Not just this, but there's so many different areas of ignorance, but that's all they know, that's all they grew up around. You know, who's there to tell them that was wrong, or this isn't how it's supposed to be, when it's all they've ever known is, oh, this is how it goes, this is how it goes, this is how it goes. And then that's how they are.
Yeah.
Without any, like, maybe he's the first one to tell them, hey, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And
Like this specific conversation isn't the only thing ever that has been like that. You know, when you grow up in a certain community, you don't go out anywhere. Even for example, I grew up in Bellevue, Washington, a very rich community, a very wealthy community, and I went to school with a lot of kids that didn't travel outside of what I called the walls of Bellevue, and so that's all they know. And I know I didn't appreciate that they didn't know the outside world, but that's all they knew, right? All they knew was, oh, I live in a big house, I get a car, and both of my parents bring in a lot of money, and blah, 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 and this and this. And when we do go somewhere, we do go to a resort, and it's not the actual country or whatever. And I'm ignorant because of that, because I don't know any better. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
That's interesting.
what do you think, Joe?
I think one thing that we forget when we meet somebody that we don't necessarily agree with is that we don't necessarily understand why they think like that.
Yeah.
Where they're coming from, what their perspective was, what trauma they might have. And I think one thing that actually they did well, or Rob Reiner did well in this scene, is that his character kind of gave Archie the platform to talk and explain, and after that he kind of understood, well, okay, this is where Archie is from, this is, you know, how he became who he is now. And I think if we all kind of approach discussions with each other like that, I think we have a lot to gain, and I think we have, you know, an opportunity to where we can learn from each other and where we can, you know, progress in a way that we all want to, which is, you know, a more free and understanding and unified society.
Yeah, and kind of like what you're saying, I think from Rob Reiner's character's point of view, I think, like I said, he finally realized that he didn't understand. He kind of sees that ignorance runs deep with some people. Like, you can see someone saying stupid things and just dismiss him as an idiot, but this was a moment where Archie kind of gave a little glimpse into why he is the way he is, but you have to go really deep, and that's got to be tough for a young Archie as a boy. He loves his father. How can my father be wrong? How can the person I love, look up to, respect be wrong? He's teaching me all of these valuable life lessons, so he must be right about his. I can see how that would be tough for a young boy or girl to grow up and have that admiration, respect for your parental figure, or it could be anyone, but the father, especially the father-son dynamic, is so strong. I can see how. I don't know if you can change someone with that when he runs that deep, when it's an emotional thing. You know, it's not a logical thing.
I think you can.
You think?
I think because even Archie is justifying it because, and he's kind of playing it in his mind, well, I believe this because my father this, not necessarily because he wants to himself, right? And when he is kind of rationalizing it himself in that way, and he has this discussion, those are the kind of people that I think can change. I think the kind of people that are less likely to change are, I believe this because I, experience this myself, and this is what I see, and this is what I, believe in, and all those things, right? It's the realization of, okay, maybe Archie's dad isn't perfect. And once he changes that, and once he realizes you can be good and do bad things, right? You could be wrong, but still love each other, right? Once you realize that, then it's okay. There's a middle ground. And then that kind of opens the floodgates.
Yeah, you might be right.
It's very nuanced.
Yeah.
I think you can change your mind. Archie could change. But also, I'm thinking about some of the stuff he was describing about his father. His father locked him in a closet for 7 hours. It's like... but it's kind of like still hammering on that point where it's like you're saying that he can't be wrong, but you're listing behaviors that are inherently wrong.
Wow, that is a great point.
Yeah.
So you have to look, I got to scale out. It's very interesting, especially the father-child relationship, father-son relationship is very deep.
And that is a great point. I didn't even think about that. Like they have the father. Like he said that about his father doing abusive stuff to him on purpose. That was a part of the script. I think it was to show that not only was his father teaching him wrong stuff, but that he was an abusive figure, which also molded Archie's development.
Yeah.
So he might even have some weird, and I've heard about this, like where the person who abuses you. You have this weird, like that battered wife syndrome.
Trauma bond.
Yeah, where it's just like, and so that, you mix in a little bit of that with that, and it kind of, Archie might have a little, he might need to see some,
he might
need therapy.
Everyone needs therapy, right? Everyone.
Especially Archie.
Everyone needs therapy. I think, we're going to do this later. But what I was going to say is, a lot of stuff is molded by experience, and you asked, do you think people can change? And I think also, people can change. I think sometimes it hits harder when it's closer to you, right? You may not experience all these things, and then finally something happens to someone that's close to you, someone that you respect, and then you actually see the damage and the bad that does, versus just having an opinion about it and seeing it in other people, but it doesn't personally affect you.
Humanizing the issue.
Yeah, that was. I thought it was great the way they did that, because we all kind of felt sorry for Archie at the end of that.
Yeah.
It is really relatable.
Yeah. Think about the times where there's someone that you hate, some ignorant spouting person, and you just immediately you dismiss him. You think he's a moron. But suddenly now I'm starting to think, well, what happened to this guy? Yeah. This kind of episode makes you think, well, what might have happened to this person that got him this way? And this episode, I thought, really allowed Rob Reiner's character to have that epiphany. That's kind of why they ended it on his face. Because suddenly he felt bad for Archie. Because he probably never bothered to think about going deeper into Archie's past to find out, well, how did he end up like this? And so now it had me thinking, like, man, I feel bad for Archie, and now I'm starting to feel bad for some of the other people that I hate.
Yeah.
because they act stupid. But what might have happened to them?
It's that, what's that cliche phrase where it's like, you never know who's fighting a hard battle or whatever.
Right.
That's exactly what they're talking about. But it's true and it's relatable.
Like, what happened to Hitler as a boy?
He got rejected from art school.
I feel bad. What could have happened to him?
A Jewish girl
there's
rejected
actually,
him.
there's actually a great movie called Motorcycle Diaries, and it is about a young Che Guevara, who a lot of people thought was Fidel Castro's one of his right-hand guys, and he goes from Argentina on his motorcycle journey all the way up to Venezuela, and all the stuff that he saw and stuff, you see, molded his opinion on being there's different opinions. Some people like him, some people don't. And my mom's family is Cuban, so there's a lot of negative feeling there. I know even bringing that movie up to my grandma, she was like, yeah, he's Fidel's right-hand man. I don't want to see it. I'm like, but it's, all these people were kids at one point.
Yeah.
It's true.
Think I really don't think that Hitler was born and was like, this is what I'm gonna do.
No.
Right? There's so many things that molded these things, unfortunately, too. But it's a great movie if you guys want to ever check it out.
And so, yeah, a lot of things go back to childhood. So treat your kids good. Treat your kids good, people.
Or else it might turn into
but discipline's okay.
Yeah. I mean, 7 hours and being locked up.
Maybe 6.
Yeah, okay. A Colombian upbringing.
Chancla.
the jungle.
Thanks for watching our video, guys. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscribing.
And remember, we still have that 10,000 subscriber special, that Rob Reiner headshot,
Yes.
the meathead himself. And we always like to thank our tippers and Patreons. Eventually, we'll have maybe a list of of everybody who...
We'll shout you guys out.
We'll shout you guys out. And drum roll, please. We have up our first full episode of Sanford and Son on Patreon, and the big ticket item. What is it?
We're going to be watching Blazing Saddles in a few minutes, so it'll be on Patreon. Go check it out. The link is down below.
Down below.